Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today on the journey. I just welcome everyone, and today we are going to be talking about recognizing a cycle. And boy, do I have something to tell you today, something to share with you about recognizing a cycle. Those cycles where we seem to repeat things over and over. And yeah, we're going to talk about that. And as with all of our time that we spend together, I hope that I say something. I hope that you can glean something from our time together that will strengthen you, that will encourage you, and that will help you, that will motivate you and inspire you on your journey. For those of you who may not know me, I am Gwendolyn Burton, and I am on a journey of sharing with you some of the things that I'm writing about in my book. I am currently in the process of writing a book, and I truly believe that this book is going to bless you in your life. Not only you, but actually the world. I believe that I have a story worth telling. Not just telling just for the sake of telling a story, but a story that is going to encourage you, inspire you, give you hope. So thank you for coming on the journey with me. So like I said, this week we're going to be talking about recognizing the cycle. If you're joining me, whether you're joining me live or by rebroadcast, I just want to say thank you. Thank you so much for coming in the room with me, for sitting down here with me and talking and sharing. I want to thank you. Your support has been so overwhelming. Your support has blown me away. And so it means so much to have you take the time out of your day to come in and talk with me and to listen and to share with me what's on your mind and to have me interact with you. So thank you so much. And one of the things that I want to do, I am so appreciative of each one of you, whether you're live or whether you're with the rebroadcast. I am so appreciative of you. But I believe that the time that we spend together is going to expand. So this week, one of the things that I'm going to be focusing on is actually expanding our outreach. So I encourage you to invite others to join us, to share the video, and let's bring others into our circle. Okay, so let's talk about recognizing the cycle. Hi, Bob. I'm glad you're here. Hi, Lisa. So glad you're watching. Stephanie. This week, I had a very interesting experience as I was writing. I found myself still writing about dealing with our past, taking back the power from our past. So I found myself as I was writing. Now I've been writing on this for on the past, the chapter that we're dealing with on our past for I would say a couple of weeks, or maybe more. And mind you, now I have a deadline that I have to get my manuscript to my editor and various others. So I am on a deadline, so I just can't hang out in a particular area, indefinitely. Well, this week I found myself still writing about the past, and I seem to have been stuck. I found myself stuck and unable to get past some things. Or the other thing I found was that I would repeat. I found that I was repeating something I had written previously. So I know there were a couple of times when I was reading over the manuscript and I said, oh, well, I wrote about that back there, or I talked about this, and it may not have been the identical same thing, the words, but it was I found that the words were dealing with a topic or an experience or something that I had written about previously. And I couldn't get past this chapter. I could not complete this chapter in my life. Have you been there before? Have you been at a place where it seems like you could not get closure? I could not get closure on this chapter. And so I had to pull away. There are several times where I just had to pull away and just put everything down and take some time away from this chapter in my life. And I decided to just, you know what, I think I need to go and see and just look into this a little deeper and see what's going on, see why I can't get through this place, why I can't get past certain points in this chapter. And lo and behold, the light bulb came on. There is a part in this chapter where I actually deal with repeating cycles in our lives. There are places and times in my life where I would repeat the same cycle. It's like, I've been through this before. I've done this before. Why am I having to go back through this again? Why am I experiencing this again? Why does this same thing keep coming up? I thought I was over this. I thought I was past this. So what happened was I said, okay, I just need to back. Okay, God, I need you to help me with this one. I really need you to help me with this one. And what I found was that I was in a cycle. I'm writing about cycles, repeating cycles, and then I find myself repeating the cycle. So then the next thing I had to do, have you ever felt that? If whether you're live or you're watching the rebroadcast, if I'm saying anything that resonates with you, anything that can that you can identify with, let me know that you're with me. Let me know, yes, that's me. I've been there before, or I'm there right now. Whatever it is, if there's something that I'm saying that you can identify with, let me know that, let me know. So I had to go back and find out what is it that is causing me to get in this perpetual cycle. I see your feedback. Thank you so much. What is it that I'm writing about? What is it that I'm dealing with in my life that seems to put me in a place of repeating? Is I had to go back and examine it. And what I found was there are certain places in my life. There are certain experiences in my life that I tend to repeat. Whether it's mentally, I keep running that thing through my mind time and time again. So what I went back to try and identify was, what was I writing about right before I found myself in this cycle? What was I dealing with? What triggered me? Have you ever been triggered? Something happened, somebody said something, you got put in a certain situation, or someone rubbed you the wrong way, said something the wrong way, or you did something, or someone did something to you, and an offense occurred, and it started you spiraling, and you found yourself going through a cycle. You've been there before. You've been there many times. You have been there. You worked your way through it. You got out of it. But something happened, and you find yourself right back in that same cycle again. And then for some of us, again and again and again. So my lesson for myself this week was, it's important for me to know or to identify those people, those places, those things, those experiences that tend to throw me in a cycle. And it took me a while, hi Elaine, to recognize that I was in a cycle. I'm like, why do I keep writing about this same thing? I'll say it this way, and then I would go back and I would do, and I'm not just talking about within the process of writing. In writing, certainly, there are going to be some things you repeat, some things that you write about, and you may, reference it again. But I found myself stuck in a place where I couldn't move forward. And I knew my editor's like, where are we on this? And I'm like, I'm working on this, and I don't know. I'm not feeling good about this because I don't think I'm progressing. There you go. I don't think I'm progressing as fast as I need to. I don't think I'm moving forward like I need to move forward. But this week was very, very, very enlightening to me. It's very enlightening for me because as I was writing about those cycles, I didn't even recognize that I was in a cycle. And what I found even more interesting or enlightening was that I resorted back to behavior, unhealthy behavior, which is another thing I was writing about. I started beating myself up. Like, come on, I know I can do this. Why can't I move past this? Why can't I move forward? Why can't I close out this chapter? And this was a very, when you're dealing with your past, that can be a very, a chapter that has the ability to direct you, to control you, all of those things, to determine actually how your day is going to be, how your future is going to be. So as I found myself stuck this week, I began, kind of beating myself up, like, oh, you can do this. Come on, and it may sound like I was encouraging myself, but it's like, what's wrong with me? Why can't I do this? I know I can do this. I know that I have the ability, that I have the favor, that I have the blessing on my life to do this, yet I can't move past this place. I am stuck. So I did what so many of us do in our lives. We get to a place, we get to an obstacle, we get to a challenge. We're confronted with something that is blocking our progress. We're confronted with something that seems to have a grip on us, and we cannot break loose from that thing. And what we do, instead of recognizing or trying to determine what this thing is, or what that trigger was, or what I need to do to break free from this thing, we start to blame ourselves. We start to, put on a weight, or carry something, or start carrying something that really isn't ours, So after I took a break, Actually, I took a few breaks. I had to take a few breaks and just pulled away. And that's what we have to do sometimes. Wouldn't you agree? Sometimes we have to acknowledge our own spirit. We have to acknowledge when our spirit is saying, you know, it's okay. Take your hands off of it. Back up just a little bit. Take a break. I need rest. I need rejuvenation. I need refreshing. And this week, I needed refreshing. So I just want to encourage you that this week, I want you to try and see if there are times and periods in your life, to recognize those times and periods in your life where you find yourself repeating a cycle, repeating cycles. And then once you identify that, take some time and try to determine what triggered that cycle. If we can determine those things that throw us off, that throw us into those cycles, then we can work towards and we can gather tools to utilize to help break free or not even entering the cycle. If we know that this person triggers us, then we may have to stay away from that person. When and if possible, we may need to distance ourselves. If we know that this environment throws you into a cycle, then we may have to remove ourselves from that environment. So knowing what triggers your cycle is primary to your being able to move forward. Okay? So if you have any questions, please, type a comment, a question, anything. If you have any questions for me, as I said, if you're watching on the rebroadcast, please put those in, because I'm on online every day. I come back and I read your comments. Every comment, every single comment that you write, I read it. So I want you to know that. I want you to know that your thoughts, your opinions, your comments, your questions, they're all important and they matter. They matter because you matter. So I just want to say thank you so much for joining me today. My live people, my live audience, thank you. I love you so much. My rebroadcast audience, thank you. I love you. My new followers, thank you so much. And please share the page, share the video. We are going somewhere. We are going somewhere, and we are going to impact the world as we keep moving forward. Have an incredible weekend. Have an incredible day. And I will see you again online. I'll see you in the group, forward looking group this week. And I will see you on our Facebook page. Thank you so much for joining me. Blessings.